So I'm a server in a restaurant, and when I first started serving years ago, I would hear people talk about the groups of people that weren't good tippers or the people that they didn't really want to serve because they knew they weren't going to get a good tip from them. And one of the groups of people that they often mentioned was the Sunday crowd or the Christians. Now, as a Christian, this kind of offended me, and I didn't like that they were talking about the Christians this way and didn't know why they were talking about the Christians this way. But it didn't take me long working there before I realized that they unfortunately were right. The Christians, the Sunday crowd, the people who bowed their heads to pray before their meal, often ended up leaving me the worst tips. And to this day, 6 years later, this continues to happen. People come into my work and they might have a shirt on that says a Christian organization that they work for, a Christian school that they work for, and they're consistently the people who tip the worst. Now, I don't know about you, but this bothers me to my core, and this should bother you too. Because first of all, the Bible tells us over and over again to be generous, to be loving, to be kind. But beyond this, Christians are supposed to look different than the rest of the world. So that doesn't mean look worse than the rest of the world, be less generous than the rest of the world, and to stand out that way. But it means we should stand out by looking the most kind, the most generous, and having something that other people want. The pastor of the church that I went to growing up always said, if you can't afford to leave an awesome tip when you go out to eat after church today, then don't go, because the Christians need to look different than the rest of the world. We should be the most generous people out there, the most loving, the most kind, the most selfless people that enter those restaurants, and the servers should see something different in us. And first of all, I think it's important for you to ask yourself, do you not want to bless somebody? Do you not want to make somebody's day? Do you not want to show the love and generosity of the Lord with other people? And secondly, you need to think of the picture of Christ that you're sharing with other people. I don't think people realize this, but when you bow your heads to pray, people notice. And then when you leave a bad tip, they associate Christianity with stinginess and rudeness. But if you leave a great tip, then they go, oh my goodness, those Christians left me the best tip, and they associate generosity and Christianity together. So what do you want people to say about you, and what do you want them to say about your God? Think of the picture of Christ that we're leaving in people's minds. Sometimes I just want to grab my customers and shake them a little bit and go, what is the point of Christianity if your actions don't change at all? Nobody's going to want Jesus if we look the same as the rest of the world. And I'm going to let you in on a secret. In the restaurant world, a 20% tip is very mediocre. So I encourage you to blow people away and bless them. Make Jesus look good. Why aren't we working harder to break this stereotype of Christians being greedy? That's literally the opposite of how we're supposed to be. Break the stereotype.